Привit. I'm Chuck Olenek, a Ukrainian-American baptized with the name Yaroslav, and that's the name I go by in the Society for Creative Anachronism, where I'm known as Yaroslav the Persistent, or Yari. I saw a post by my king, William Scala, who said, that he was going to get into the Bardic areas and get outside his comfort zone, and I'm a big fan of that sort of thing, and I'm trying to encourage people to use video and use YouTube in order to do that, especially for those people that will choke if they, end up getting in front of a crowd, or like I used to before I got into teaching, I'd stammer like Billy Bibbit in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So here's a sample piece. Just because a piece isn't period doesn't mean you can't use it. After all, we have a proud tradition of doing filk in the society. This poem burned its way into my soul when I first came across it in high school. It makes me think of my grandfather who died in a Siberian gulag. It was written by Alexander Pushkin, a Russian writer, and he didn't live in period. He wrote Ruslan and Ludmila, which is set in Kievan Rus, but this is not a period piece. This poem is addressed to the participants of the abortive armed uprising against the aristocracy in Russia that occurred in December of 1825. So Pushkin handed this poem to the wife of one of the Decembrists, that's what the people were called that were doing the rebellion, who was leaving to join her husband in Siberia. In reply to this poem by Pushkin, one of the exiles, Prince Alexander Odoyevsky, lived from 1802 to 1839, wrote a poem which at one time was very popular in revolutionary circles. In it, he assured the bard, I guess he was trying to protect Pushkin, that the Decembrists were proud of their chains and that their faith in the cause of freedom was unshaken. And here's a couplet from it. Our grievous labors were not at all in vain. A flame will yet be kindled from the spark. So here's Pushkin. Deep in the Siberian mine, keep your patience proud. The bitter toil shall not be lost, the rebel thought unbowed. The sister of misfortune, hope, in the underdarkness dumb, speaks joyful courage to your heart. The day desired will come, and love and friendship pour to you across the darkened doors, even as round your galley beds my free music pours. The heavy hanging chains will fall, the walls will crumble at a word, and freedom greet you in the light, and brothers give you back the sword. So maybe you have a hard time doing a bardic performance in public, all those eyes staring at you. You'll get over it, but an easy way to make the transition, you get a few pictures, you find a piece you want to do. This happened to be something I wanted to share for a long time, but it's not period. Well, you know what, we'll get back to the period stuff. But you get a couple of pictures and you do a voiceover. Or actually several voiceovers, because you might be using several images, and that makes it a lot easier. The stumbling block for me was to read what I was going to do as far as the voiceover, because it came across very stilted to me and very unnatural. But it was something that eventually, if I'm not looking at a script, like if I have the phone hooked up, the camera hooked up while I'm driving, I'm doing this stuff, I'm waving my hands, I've got both hands off the steering wheel at some point, and it becomes very natural, and in time you'll get better at it. Okay? So, we'll get back to the period stuff next time. Until then, do pobacenia.